In this video, I'll show you how to make a varnish layer in InDesign, and how to do it quickly using the scripts Varnish Images and Varnish Maker. Let's get started. Here I have a document open in InDesign. This is a typical book project, mostly text with some photos, which will be varnished. We have a few steps to go through. First, I'll show the normal steps without the script. We need a varnish layer and a varnish swatch. I'll create both. We'll start with one image. Select the frame and copy. Paste in place. Then move the copy to the varnish layer. Now select the content of the frame and clear it. This leaves the frame only, all we need, which is now empty. Select the empty frame on the varnish layer and set the fill to the varnish swatch. It doesn't need a stroke. Remove it if the frame has one. Lastly, it is best to overprint the varnish. This isn't a big deal if the layout will be exported twice, once with the varnish layer hidden, and again with the artwork layer hidden. But it's still good practice to overprint in case someone wants both exported together. To confirm how it looks, go to the View menu and select Overprint Preview. You should see the image under the varnish. That's how I've done it for years, for InDesign, and in the old days, QuarkXPress. This job has a lot of images. Making the varnish layer will take some time. So I wrote a script to do it for me. I'll revert the document and use the script Varnish Images. To run the script, open the Scripts panel. I already have the script installed in InDesign. For help adding scripts to InDesign, see the link in the description for another video that shows the steps. In the list, select the script Varnish Images. Double-click to run it, which displays the interface. The interface has two sections, Varnish and Options. The first section is what to varnish. Choices are Images in rectangular frames, Images masked using a clipping path, and Images masked using transparency. For transparency, a varnish image is needed. The script links to an existing varnish image, which is the same base name plus the suffix indicated. By default, _varnish. Change to anything you like. It just has to be characters legal in file names. Enable the option Create Image, and if one doesn't exist, the script calls Photoshop to create one. The last choice is whether to varnish pasted graphics. In the Options section, enter the names of the varnish layer and swatch to use. These do not have to exist beforehand. The script creates both if needed. Now to make varnish, click OK. And look at it go, doing the same steps I showed for one image, but to all. Work that could take an hour is done in seconds. The second example is an image that is shifted in the frame. You've probably seen this before, but not this exaggerated. One edge of the image doesn't reach the frame edge, but often it's just a sliver, barely noticeable. Why we miss it during prep. If making varnish manually, you end up with a varnish element larger than the image. This won't look good when printed. We don't want that. Now watch what the script does. The script is smart enough to realize we don't need more varnish than image, and it isn't needed beyond the bleed. The third example shows how the script handles masked images. An image can be masked a few ways. It could be masked in Photoshop, or it uses a clipping path. There's also Detect Edges, but I wouldn't recommend it. Not very accurate. Much better when using a path made in Photoshop. but the script will recognize either. For images masked with transparency, the only way to get the shape for varnish is from the transparency, and create an image to match. If needed, the script calls Photoshop to do this. For images using a clipping path, it's simpler. The script copies the clipping path and creates varnish the same shape. I'll run the script and we'll see the results. There's a message when the script calls Photoshop. For the image masked in Photoshop, the varnish is a TIFF that was created. The clipping path, it's a vector shape. Same for detect edges. But notice if the image isn't masked, the script varnishes the full frame. Even this placed image, which appears masked, isn't really. It just has the background dropped out to white. So keep in mind, the script won't see an image like this as masked, because it isn't. Also, the script ignores Illustrator Art and bitmap images. There's no telling how you might want these varnished. Handle these manually by creating varnish layers in Illustrator or images for the varnish. Next, I'll show the other script, Varnish Maker. The second script, Varnish Maker, is for making varnish manually. In most cases, I'll use varnish images first to make most of the varnish layer, but a few elements might remain. This script has two stages. First, some options to select, just like the Varnish Images script. Once you click OK, a floating palette appears. This palette can be moved anywhere on screen, even to a secondary display. While the palette is displayed, you can still interact with the layout. I'll varnish these images manually. Select an image, and on the palette, click Selection. Varnish is created. You can also varnish text. Whatever is selected. The other two buttons varnish an entire page or spread. Here's another example to demonstrate. A layout like this, we want varnish covering the entire page. Select something on the page, then on the palette, click the button Page. The entire page is varnished. But really, the color flood on the right needs varnish too. I'll undo Page Varnish and instead choose Spread. Now the entire spread is varnished.